push the button. Robin says hi too. She's in an offsite, so she can't make it. All right, cool. Shut that window. Great. So thanks everyone for joining another week of the OpenJS Foundation Cross-Project Council meeting. Today is the 4th of February, 2020. If you are in the meeting, please don't forget to add yourself to the Google Doc. And the meeting issue is 459 in GitHub. Before we get into the agenda, do we have any announcements or anything we want to discuss?
I have a few light announcements, kind of light on announcements. One is that Toby Langville needs to be promoted. Just noticed that. Second is that the Summit planning meetings have been kicked off for Summit 2020. And those are ongoing, and we really want as many folks who are interested and able to participate. That's been added to the public calendar, so you can subscribe to the calendar and get the notifications in your calendar about when those meetings are. We are actively trying to secure a venue so that we can be very firm about our dates for that. We're targeting the 25th and 26th of June. Immediately following our conference, which has a new name. That's exciting. That was announced last week. We instead of the event formerly known as Node plus JS Interactive, which was deemed far too wordy, we're going with OpenJS World. The call for proposals is open, and we should be taking registrants within the next 2 weeks. So please tell your friends all about that.
Woo. Yeah. What's the name again, Jory?
OpenJS World.
Okay.
I'm in the bad habit of adding an F to that OpenJS World, but it's OpenJS World, and very much looking forward to that in Austin, Texas in June. And then last but not least, just wanted to put out a reminder that our standards working group is meeting bi-weekly. Our next meeting is next week following this meeting. This week, a number of our colleagues are out at TC39 in Hawaii. And so we all feel terribly sorry for them.
We do.
That's what I got.
I'm getting told my internet is unstable, so let me know if I Darth Vader out or disappear. Is there anything else, Jory? Like, is there anything happening tomorrow, for example?
Oh, yes, there is something happening tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, Dave Methvin, Timmy Willison, and myself, and I think Rachel also, will be participating in the jQuery AMA. So if you have a question that you would like to have answered about jQuery or the project or anything of that sort, please submit it. Let me know and tell your friends and tune in. It will be a good time because we have fun. That's why.
Great. All right, cool. So with that, we can get into the what do you call it? The agenda. And just add the jQuery AMA tomorrow. Yay. Cool. All right. So the first item on the agenda here is issue 445. We've kind of talked about this a few times. This is about where any sort of resources should live. I think you did open a PR, huh? Right?
I did, and I had one request to add a link to the travel fund from the README to just make sure that the travel fund information stayed more evident or accessible, and I made that adjustment. So assuming people like that, I think this is probably good to go.
it doesn't need to be in this PR, but we should make sure that we surface these resources, and I think the README is kind of a good spot to have them. But looks good to me. If other folks want to drop a thumb on that, that'd be great too. This is pull request 456, right? Oh yeah, per 445, got it. Cool. All right, anything else anyone wants to talk about there? No. Excellent. And if anyone can help take notes, that would be awesome. I keep trying to do it, but then I get distracted.
I will take notes, but I need somebody to upgrade Timmy.
Oh, I can do that. Thank you. Please let me know if you see anyone in attendees, and I will jump in there. Cool. No worries, Chris. Take your break. Cool. So the next issue is 432. This is start a code of conduct team. I think the real, the thing we said last week was to determine whether pull request 379 is a viable MVP. There has not been any commentary on this as of late or on the issue 432 around starting a code of conduct team. I admit I'm a little slacking here as well. I need to go back to the pull request and determine if I'm comfortable with it.
I don't know if we lost Joe. Did we lose Joe?
I would guess so, if he hasn't said anything.
Yeah. Farewell, Joe.
Farewell, Joe.
Okay. Hopefully he is able to reconnect. Oh, there he comes.
What?
Hi.
Oh, hey. I'm back. I didn't know I was gone, but I guess I'm back. I just got alerted. What did I miss?
You were just talking and you kind of, and then you stopped. And
Okay, great. Oh, that's great. Cool. Well, so where I was, or at least I think I was the next agenda item is pull request 414, the foundation-wide copyright guidance. And when this pull request was not loading, I started to wonder if I was offline. So there's some more commentary here. I don't know if anyone has any more input. Maybe Brian. I'm not sure if Mateo's on.
On the COC, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Brian.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, we'll double back, Toby, to the COC. Sorry if I didn't leave enough time to chat on that one.
I'm sorry. Were you talking about? Did you just pass this? I missed like I'm sorry. I was focusing on the issue itself, and now like if you've moved forward, that's fine.
No, that's an important issue. So I am happy to double back. I'm not sure where I cut out. So let's wrap up on code of conduct before moving on to the next one. I was just saying that I need to go back and review the PR that's open and see if that's an MVP. But do you have anything to add to that, Toby?
I think there's lots of loose threads on this pull request. Like it ties into a contributor confident pull request, and I think we should maybe sort of regroup to see if we can make progress with all of this. Have someone own this and sort of like organize where we're at would be good.
I agree.
Yeah,
I feel like it needs an ad hoc meeting pulled together of the folks who have said that they're interested in taking this on.
I'm also happy to reach out to Nana and ask her where she's at with this thing, if that helps.
I think we lost Joe again.
This is going to be difficult.
Yes.
Does someone else want to step up and share? Like maybe Jory do one of this? I don't know someone else, and I'm happy to help take the notes.
Yeah, I think maybe
too.
that might be prudent just because of his internet situation.
Yeah.
I think Joe would not disagree in the least that what's necessary is for this group to come together who raise their hands on that HackMD doc as being interested, maybe to also reach out to some of the more active and interested parties like Nina from AMP to actually try and make some progress on this because it does feel very stalled. I will happily take the task of trying to schedule that and see if we can get actual momentum created on this between now and next week.
Awesome.
Cool. Alrighty. I think then with y'all's permission, we'll move on to number 414, which is the Foundation copyright guidance issue, which Brian and Toby have been owning. And you're both here, so I know that there was some progress made. Would you like to report to the group?
Yeah, sure. So I think at this point, Toby and I had agreed that draft of things. He was taking a look at it. We're supposed to get together at some point, probably a week. And that's kind of where we are right now.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, we did meet like a while back. Brian did the work he was supposed to do, and now I have to do the work that I'm supposed to do. And if I'm not wrong, I have said that I wasn't going to be doing anything for this week because I was at FOSDEM the whole weekend. It's a miracle that I'm actually on this call right now, given what FOSDEM looked like.
I have a kind of follow-up question to the both of you. I periodically get questions from projects about, how they're supposed to do X, Y, or Z. Do we want to be recording like frequently asked questions somewhere with this document, and if so, where should that go? If no, is there a better place to record stuff like this?
It's sort of what the format looks like.
Yep.
So the format is sort of a too long didn't read small bullet point list of things you have to do, and then basically what looks like a frequently asked questions underneath.
Yeah, and in this case, the stuff that's underneath is based on the Linux Foundation's general guidance around copyright lines or copyright notices, and it's a very long way of saying you don't really have to do this unless you're required to. And if you are required to, say by your employer or whoever is sponsoring your work, then it provides some guidance on the right way to do it. There are a few things in there which are incredibly important, like don't modify somebody else's line. And all of this stuff, we say it multiple times because we want to make sure that it gets really well institutionalized. And if you're going to take one thing away from this document, that's the one thing to take away.
So if we do get a question, I'm thinking of like, for example, somebody asking a question about applying a policy. Would you like that on this issue for now?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think that makes sense. If there are common questions that are coming up that aren't addressed by this, then definitely let's get them on there.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Moving down to number 386, the post-graduation checklist.
Yeah, that's exactly the same thing. I have work that's on me that didn't get a chance to do. I'm hoping to find time to do this by next week.
You're speaking about 386 specifically?
Yes.
Okay. We've also put out a request to all of the voting CPC members to review this. This is a change that we identified would require a majority of CPC voting members 2+1. And so if you see your name on the review area, it means we need you to give us a thumbs up or request changes so that we can at least unblock this on that front. All right. Moving on to number 379. This is the COC proposal to stage 3. As we just mentioned a minute ago, one of the outcomes we would like from the ad hoc group is to assess whether this proposal should proceed and is sufficient for an MVP. As Toby mentioned, there's a lot of like loose threads related to moving the code of conduct, not just the document, but also the implementation forward, which we're hoping this code of conduct working group can also unblock for us. So if you had raised your hand as being an interested party in that group, we would certainly appreciate you taking the time to review this proposal thoroughly and considering whether it will be sufficient, again, as that MVP. Any other open questions or concerns about this for the time being? I think that's kind of where we're stuck. All right. Moving down to number 326, responsible security disclosures. Michael Dawson has been updating us periodically with the progress of the Node security working group. And that working group, incidentally, is also interested in making sure that all OpenJS Foundation projects who may be interested in security generally are invited to participate. And so while we're speaking about this specifically, let me generally say that those who may be interested in talking security shop, so to speak, should feel welcome to join the security working group conversations.
Do we have a link for this?
I do. So actually I was just on it a little bit ago. I'll find it here in just a second. I think Michael's last update was that Marcin has been working on this proposal and should have something for us to broadly review very soon. Let me go really quick and see if I can find that issue.
So my question is this the ecosystem security working group?
I forget exactly what they called it, which is part of why I want to double check.
Does anyone on the call know?
I just was looking at this. Let me go to my red notifications. I wish there was a way, or maybe there is. If I get, oh wait, oh maybe, hold on, sorry. Sorry everyone. Okay, there we go. Here we go. I think I found it. And I'm going to pop this in the chat. Didn't take as long as I thought. So this is the issue under the Node Security Working Group, where they are calling for participation and outreach to other projects. And that's issue number 511 in the Security Working Group repository.
Wonderful, thank you. It's very useful.
Yep. Okay. And I suspect we will have a better update from Michael Dawson when he is back. All right. Jumping down to number 185. Admin policy docs. Ben and Joe were both working on this. Okay.
Yeah, this is something that pretty much just needs some I's dotted and T's crossed off, and should be good to go really soon. I've been delayed for the last couple of weeks, but I should be able to get that pushed forward this week.
Great. Thank you very much, Ben.
No problem.
This is always like this kind of stuff is always like the administrativia that seems to take like, I don't know, forever.
It started in the bootstrap phase, I think.
Yeah.
and then yeah, we're finally getting around to it, but yeah, it'll get in there.
Okay, great. And I think as this gets kind of moved in, we'll just want to, everybody should pay attention and just review to for consistency, because some of these admin policy docs are going to have come from Node, and so some of the language or process might not be completely matched up. So if you review, just keep an eye out for that kind of stuff, so we can make it all nice and consistent.
Absolutely, consistency and biases in that for that matter. If it's coming from one project, and you know, just make sure that it fits within the purview of the entire group.
Okay. Moving to issue number 96. That means it's a blast from the past. Last time our draft proposal language for project exit clause. Joe added this to the agenda, and I'm gonna assume it's because we have a merged PR from August 2019 that may close the issue. So I think that's probably it. Joe isn't here to confirm the reason for adding the label addresses 96. I'm assuming that's it. So I think the question might be, can we close this issue? Because we do have a merged PR that adds some of that stuff. I would say yes.
Given that you're the one that filed it and it is exactly the anniversary of that issue, I vote for yes, we can close it.
Oh, it is this issue's anniversary. Happy anniversary, issue 96.
Woo.
Okay, yeah, +1 for closing, y'all. Everyone, yes?
+1.
Okay, for its anniversary, it gets to be closed. I'm gonna close it with a comment, happy anniversary issue. All right, cool. Okay, great. That was fun. That's fun. All right, issue number 313, it looks like. Oh, no, wait, issue number 90, sorry. Project directed funding. This has been also opened for over a year. We've already missed its anniversary. Happy belated anniversary, issue number 90. The board, unfortunately, fortunately, has this issue. And the last update that we got from Miles last week was just that it was an active ongoing discussion, and that's about it. It still has the waiting on the board label. Joe has added the cross-project council agenda label, so I'm not sure if there was something else he wanted to see, but I guess we could ask, let me see who on the call maybe from I guess maybe Brian. Brian, do you are there any updates to this issue?
There aren't any updates yet. No, I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay. So I think we'll have to move on then. Okay. The next set of issues will come from the standards repo. So we'll move into chartering the standards team, and this is issue number 58. This is Miles's issue, but I can certainly provide an update from the last standards working group meeting. We talked about creating whether we needed to create a charter document in line with how onboarding projects create charter documents, or if per the older Node.js organization way of doing it, a governance document would be sufficient. The group last week leaned toward just having a governance document and felt that might be lighter weight. We're trying to capture some ideas right now for like making that nice and robust. But we wanted to give the group here an update for how we're proceeding. I don't expect too much activity to happen on this in the next week, given that a substantial number of our group are heading to the TC39 meeting. But let me ask Emily if, and I think Jordan may still be on the call, if there is anything else from that conversation we should report on here today.
Regarding the charter governance part, my understanding of our conversation last week was that we would have a sort of generally a lightweight thing in the standards repo, but then also to have a document in the CPC repo effectively defining what the standards thing is. And by that division of having documents in two places, making it clear who's in charge of defining their contents. Do you recall the same, or?
Yeah, I think I need to go back and review the notes, but that does ring a bit of a bell. So anyway, I think that the takeaway here is for the CPC group is an FYI that this work is getting fleshed out, and we're really eager to make sure that it ties in well with the CPC, and so that information is easily discoverable and clear and cross-flowing between the groups as it needs to be.
And also that we are aware that this is the first such working group of the foundation, and we're trying to do things right because we will be, no matter what, setting something like a precedent for further working groups.
Any concerns or questions or anything? Okay, hearing none, I'll just invite everyone to to attend and to participate if you are so inclined. The next issue on that repository is issue number 43. This is an issue suggesting that we join the Unicode Consortium. And this is particularly important to Emily's work on message format. We suspect that the process for this kind of approval should proceed in a similar fashion as it did when we took up the issue of whether to join the OSI as an affiliate member. Emily, do you want to tell the group, give the group a little TLDR about the Unicode Consortium and its relationship with your work really quick?
Sure. So I'm active in a working group that was really originally spun off from ECMA 402 work, but has now been formalized as being under the Unicode Consortium's CLDR. So it's a working group of the Unicode Consortium. And as I'm an active participant, I would really like to be officially a participant. So I need to figure out whether I need to join the consortium as an individual member, or whether the foundation could join as a liaison member, which would not carry a monetary cost of any sort, but does have a need for us to be technically invited to become such. I have been in touch with some of the people on the Unicode Consortium side of things, and my understanding is that such an invite would be very, they would be interested in granting us possibly such an invite, should we want to have such an invite. And the comment on the issue from Stephen Loomis is he's there acting as our connection point to them.
And I guess what are the actionable items right now? Is it to make sure that we have enough distributed interest within the CPC to pursue this, or is it a matter of figuring out, how we want to participate?
So from my perspective, there's a couple of things. One is that the standards working group participants can't enjoin the foundation in any way, right? So right now, Emily's participation, and in fact, probably many of our projects' participation in different working groups may be dependent upon their ability to be invited experts and serve kind of at the leisure of a chairperson or an organization. And that kind of puts their participation in a bit of a precarious position, because they may not be able to continue for whatever reason. So what we want to do is make sure that where we see an opportunity and an ability for a project to participate in a standards making or similar type organization, that they can do that without worrying about that participation being like temporary. So the only group that can enjoin us is the board, and the board will act on the behest of the CPC. So here the ask is for the CPC to +1 this request, so that we can take it to the powers that be to make sure that this can happen from that standpoint. There's of course also the concern, like, hey, does it cost money? Is there any expected costs affiliated with this type of participation? And in the case that the answer is yes, we would need to fairly report that yes, we anticipate it would cost X many dollars for a membership, and da 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 da. In this case, we do not have any anticipated costs. And so, surely if there was that, or if somebody were deeply distressed by joining the Unicode Consortium, that they would have the ability to speak and say.
So are there any like risks or drawbacks to doing this that we can identify? If not, I mean, what, sure, right?
Risks or drawbacks?
I am not aware of any.
Yeah.
So if there's none, +1 for me. I mean, it seems to enable, work on the, in the consortium and allows him to continue what he's doing. So great.
Yeah, I'd say the same, +1.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, we will we'll get this up a level, so to speak, and hopefully report back on the progress very soon.
And you can assign that to me or to Chris or to Michael, and we can
Yeah,
get that approved by the board.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm happy to bring that up to the board.
Cool. I will do that. Chris. And I won't assign Michael because he's not here. He'll be like, what, Jory? Always giving me work. That Jory. There we go. Groovy. That actually brings us to the end of the items on our agenda today, with 15 minutes to spare. Is there any other business to bring before the CPC today? Any issues weighing on your heart or mind? Anything you wish we'd tagged with the CPC agenda label? Nothing? Okay. Well then, how about we conclude with a big thank you, everyone, for joining us today. It's always lovely to talk with you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Happy February.
Woohoo!
Did y'all do anything exciting for the palindrome day? 0202 2020. Yeah, palindrome day. Okay.
At 20 at 20 past 8 in the evening, we have like an extra layer of palindrome. Those of us that use it 24 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah. If you made a wish, it will come true. I slept through it. I'm hoping that I can stop streaming somehow, because we lost Joe and he never came back, and so I'm not sure if I can just stop the stream or if it'll stop when I